Hey, welcome back to Turntable Guy. I got another CD player on the bench today, another thrift store find. This one's not too bad as far as cosmetic condition, but it does have a few faults. This is a Scott, also known as H Scott, CD player DA-970. I have scoured the internet trying to find a manual for this thing. There is nothing. Hi-Fi Engine doesn't even list CD players under the Scott brand, and you have to look under HH Scott and able to find it to be able to find it. I think Scott, the original Scott company, was a pretty decent manufacturer of audio equipment back in the day, tube gear and stuff like that, until they got bought out by somebody. I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot of the history. I haven't gone on Wikipedia to look into it a little bit. But this is definitely, it says manufactured 1989 in the back, but it's definitely something that they probably didn't manufacture. Um, I'm just thinking maybe like Sanyo, um, kind of like, like Sanyo bought Fisher. I'm just wondering if it's along the same lines, so to speak. I don't know, and I guess we won't know until we kind of open it up. But there's nothing on the internet. I mean, there's a couple sales of these things out there, but absolutely nothing, which is really weird, especially, in this day and age when you can't find anything on it. So if anybody knows anything about this player, maybe it was part of like a department store stereo component system that they sold back in the day, where you got like a turntable, amplifier, or receiver, tuner, whatever, tape deck, and a CD player. That's what I'm thinking, because I doubt very much this was sold as a standalone product. So yeah, so if you know, like, leave a comment, and I'd be interested to know. But hopefully we find something out when we open it. Um, I did a quick test in the store, and it's having some issues. Even though the tray is opening and closing, it's having some issues, I think, with the final section of the loading, like when the drawer will drop, the switches will contact, and then it'll know that a disc is inserted. I think the belt's not finalizing that opening and closing operation. I'll show you here. Okay, so that's basically, it's looking for a disc there. We'll hit open. And we'll pop something in here. And there you go. It's kicking it back out. But occasionally it will load. I'm thinking it's a limit switch or something. Let me just try to slam it in there. There we go. See, if I gave it the slam, it's coming up with the track numbers, and it plays fine. No problem accessing tracks. Yeah, so no real issues with playing. It searches, goes right back to track number 1, no problem. Yeah, so that's all good. It's just this. And it opens and closes fine. So I'm thinking either we have a dirty limit switch. Oh, see, now it's loading. Dog's up. Yeah, see, now it's okay. But you did see the failure as well. So I'm going to put the camera up top. We are going to open it up and have a look at that disk transport system, and maybe get some clues into who manufactured this. Okay, I've gone ahead and removed the screws, and yes, well, this is the price on it, 20 bucks. But the only reason I picked this up was because I had a 30% off coupon. I would not have paid $20 for this. It's far too cheap a player to spend that kind of money, which brings up my next comment. The pricing, or whoever does the pricing at Value Village, it's like they pull the prices out of their butt. You know, sometimes you'll get a nice CD player there, like a Sony or a Technics or something, and it'll be like $9.99 or $12.99, whatever. And then you get something like this, and it's $20. So there's no rhyme or reason to their pricing. Anyway, so this is kind of cool. It's got the original product feature sticker on here. 15-track memory programmable CD player. 3-inch CD ready. Fantastic. 3-beam laser pickup. 3-way repeat function. 2-speed manual search. Skip and index search system. Wow. We're really in for a treat. Let's open it up. Oh, I left the CD in there. Let's get the CD out. Yeah, it spins up nicely. It's not a Sony pickup. Definitely doesn't look like one. Plug this. And just having a peek here, we have a Sanyo chip, a Yamaha chip, Yamaha, YM, that's usually Yamaha. It's really not saying much as to where this thing came from or who made it. Yeah. Nothing screams out to me. Maybe it's screaming out to you guys. You're probably, hey, jerk, it's Sanyo or whatever, you know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Sanyo, but I don't know, right? I haven't owned enough Sanyos to really know. Nice metal disc clamp. Okay, well, why don't we get this this transport out of the unit? And sometimes you need to actually open the tray and remove this little front tray cover, whatever you want to call it, faceplate. You have to remove that in order to get it out if you want to pull it out this way. Unplug it again and let's start. How's your... Zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, we'll go with that. Let's remove these plugs first. Looks like a pretty easy CD player to work on. So 3 plugs here for the transport. And looks like 3 big screws. Probably on some kind of rubber suspension. Yep, pretty typical. You can tell these have never been out. Big spring here. Undoubtedly goes there, is what I'm thinking. We'll just set that aside. And we'll set the unit aside for now. And here's our transport. I'm going to be looking for a belt, and I see one already, and all these springs are popping out here. I have no idea where these go. Oh, there's another one. I'm pretty sure they go in here. like that. This one goes around the back like that. That's the only place they can go, so. But I don't like when things just fall out willy-nilly like that. Okay, to get at this belt, probably want to remove the tray. So it's a pretty typical looking CD player. Here's a limit switch, obviously, for when the tells it when the drawer is fully open and fully closed. We've got a motor here that drives this gear, drives this worm gear, drives this gear, which moves our laser sled back and forth. Here's our motor for our disc spindle. And we have a motor here, which says 27th of May, 1989. This is the loading motor right here. And from that loading motor, our belt is there. Now, how difficult is it to remove this clamp? There's a spring there. I think all we need to do is do that. Be careful of brittle plastics. There we go. There's our disc clamp. And will our tray just come out, or it's locked in here. Let's, rubber bumpers are coming out too. Let's take those off as well. Screw it, leave it on. So I'm going to turn this gear here, which is the loading gear, and see what happens. I should loosen it. Okay, there we go. I always have problems getting these, that spring there is, okay, no, that's fine. We have to get that spring back down. That spring actually sits right there. So when this is in here, it should grab that little nub there. I can already see that belt is kind of shot. But the question is, how do I get this off? Okay, I'm not going to bore you to tears with that. I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to figure out how I get this tray out. I'm going to look for some kind of release. There usually is a release. Yeah. I shall return. I don't think we need to take the tray off here to fix our issue. And I think I've found what the problem is. If you notice here, here's our limit switch. It's right here. And now it's totally open, okay? So as you can see, the contact is on this side. And when it closes, this contact should shift to this side to tell the unit that the unit's closed. So watch what happens when we close it all the way. Can you see that? It's closed, but this thing needs to continue to travel, right, to clamp the mechanism and then close that side of the switch. So I'm just wondering if this is off a little bit. I don't think it is, but I have a feeling it's just our belt that's probably just shot, because the motor will continue to spin, right, when this is closed. It's probably a little bit more difficult, and then what happens is it just doesn't have that extra power to close it right there. So I'm thinking we're going to take off. See, this should be right there. And that's a little bit more stress to close it. So that's a fully closed position. So let's do it with in fully closed here and see what happens. I'm going to remove this gear. How is your, we can zoom in a little bit more. Whoopsie. See, that thing just closed. Okay. Here's the, this is where it rides inside that little groove there, this nub here. And that's the final position for it, right there. And it is quite a bit to get that to go. So undoubtedly this belt is shot. How do we get this motor or belt off? Oh, for Christ's sakes. Here we go. The fun begins. I just hope that this isn't some kind of timing that we just screwed up. So there's always a way. There's always a clamp somewhere, a clasp, something to get these disc trays off. And I'm looking underneath, and it's sitting right in front of my face, right here. Just a flat head screwdriver. It's right here. Be careful not to break the plastics. I say it's not easy to remove, and I can't see. Yeah. So something like this. Wow, this sucker right here. So there you go. Off you get. And that gives us access to our motor. Because I do want to clean in here and see roughly, like I don't have a belt that's going to fit. Actually, do I have to remove it? I'm not going to remove it. I just want to be able to access that nicer. I'm going to put a drop of oil in that motor as well for service, and then we'll just we'll clean up where the belt rides, and we'll just do some basic service while we got that transport off. Here's the original belt. It's definitely been sitting in this position for a few years. It's a little hard. This is all I have. Hardly, I think, gonna be able to do the torque on this thing. Yeah, not very happy. I don't know if I'm gonna try and boil this. I mean, I usually try to boil them because you can sometimes get them back in a decent state. So we'll clean this pulley. You want it quite spotless because we need the torque. And I don't know if that belt's going to give me the torque. And we'll just clean the motor pulley as well. Okay. It's going to degrease my fingers too. Damn. Wish I had something bigger. See, this is a little better, but it's too big. Try putting 2 in. That has worked for me in the past. I'm going to boil this. I'm going to try boiling it and see how it works. I shall return. Okay, I boiled the belt and it's not helping. It's stretched. So This one is Histoire. Okay, so what I've done is I've used those two smaller belts that I have, and I've kind of wrapped them together and put it around here, and I'm hoping that does it. So that's what we're going with. Also, I found something interesting here. The laser here, right there, it's stamped. It says Hop-M3. Also down here, Hop M3, then a 4379. So I Googled that, and after scrolling for a little while, because it took forever, it seems to say that this same mechanism, the Hop M3, is in a Lin Carrick. No, it's not a Lin mechanism, but it does say Hitachi. So, interesting, eh? Kind of makes you wonder as well, too. Like, here's this cheapo H.H. Scott CD player with a supposed Hitachi transport, and the same transports in the Lin Carrick. Something to think about, eh? Okay, so let's do some routine maintenance before we start trying to put this thing back together. I'm going to put a drop of oil on the spindle motor, like that. And we'll put a drop of oil on the laser sled motor, like that. I'm not going to bother with the loading motor. It's too low to get some oil in there, and I don't want to put any oil on the belt since I just spent all that time cleaning the pulleys. All right, rails. We're just going to do a quick cleaning on the rails. There's barely anything on them. I find that you don't very often find that rails are that filthy. So just clean off the old grease and oil. And don't worry about it too much. This is not exactly a high-end CD player. I'm sure it'll track just fine. I'm just going to move this out a little bit. I'm just going to clean this side. What you'll find mostly is that whatever grease they put on the rails gets pushed up, and there's usually a little buildup near the ends on both sides. Good. Try it up. And I'm just going to put a drop of light machine oil on there. As far as I can tell, it's just plastic. There's no like brass bushing running on the rails. It's just a little bit of plastic. So just a drop. There. 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 Like that. And then just a couple drops here, like this. And I'll spread it around. Good enough. Okay. Does anybody remember how we put this thing back together? We're in the closed position, if I remember correctly. Let's put our Get our tray back on. Closed. We'll clean our laser. There's a few guys on the internet who just they don't use anything at all. They just use a dry Q-tip. That's fine. I use like the smallest amount of glass cleaner just to clean that piece of plastic over the laser. I just don't want to grind the dry dust into the plastic, so just like it's not even wet, right? It's just slightly damp just to remove it. Remove any dust. There. You guys do what you want. Alcohol, whatever you like. Maybe you got one of those CDs you put in the machine and it brushes off the dust. You can do that too. Okay, so we're locked in the closed position. God only knows where this gear goes, although it's not attached to anything, so it definitely has to ride. Well, let's see what happens here. Let's just put this back and then move it back and forth a little bit without damaging our switch, of course. Now, I don't know if this was open or closed or where it went. That's fully closed, so let's lock that in there. Although I seem to remember it being like this when it was fully closed. I have to go back and watch the video. Oh, it's something here. I wish I remember how that went. This is definitely timed, I think. There's going to be a lot of trouble here. I better go back and watch this video. That's the problem when you start tearing shit apart, right? You just don't know what you're going to end up with. I hate when they're timed, like this one is. But I shall be back. Okay, I think we're back together here. This threw me off a little bit here. This is actually the gear that opens up the drawer. This black gear drives it. It's driven off by the belt, obviously. But by itself, this black gear just basically drops the disc down and drops the clamp down. So when we go in the opposite direction here, this is opening now. And then when it's fully open, it'll stop and it'll close the switch contact there. And then when you're loading it, it comes in. And this is where you need a good belt, because now it needs to pull this back, the clamp down with that spring, and continue the loading mechanism until the switch closes on this side. But yeah, let's put it in and see what happens. Zoom out here. Okay, we can't forget our bumpers and springs and all that kind of good stuff. So we got a bumper here. It goes like that. And then we have two springs, which are probably going to fall out as soon as I turn this thing upside down. And then we've got this one that goes around the back. Kind of difficult to maneuver. Yeah. This is going to be a pain in the butt. Is that bent? This looks a little bent. I think what I'm going to try and do, maybe put these springs here. Not easy. No, this is never going to happen. If I can just get these two down. Okay, those are supported. Now we get the big one in from the back, hopefully. There. Excuse my head. All right, let's try bolting it down. Okay, let's plug in our cables. There's no support on this board in the middle. All right, we just got it in kind of loosey-goosey right now. Let's see what happens. Nice. She's opening and closing. Let's see if she reads. Yep. Oh, yeah. 12 tracks. Play. Oh, yeah. The belt trick worked. Stop. Open. Close. Smooth. She is fixed. Yes. All right. So just a bad belt. That's all it was. But not the easiest turntable. Sorry, I'm turntable guy. Not the easiest transport to repair. Kind of tricky. Lots of little, little gears and stuff in there, and I was worried about the timing of it all. I'll just tighten these. So the CD player is nice and suspended, the transport there. Okay, so now I'm going to give this thing a nice cleaning, and I'm going to start with removing the faceplate. Looks like we got a few screws. else we got here? I got two on the side, looks like. I think we can just loosen these, yeah. Don't have to remove them. Anybody know what this is? Gotta love that. The heck is that? Some kind of roller? Not the power switch. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to find out where the hell that came from. What do we got here? We got some cables here, and let's just unplug. It's pretty simple. Our faceplate should come right off. Okay, we're just going to put the player aside and wonder what the hell this white thing is. Did it come off the transport? It's got a notch in here. All right, and we're just going to take off this control board. This thing's really cheaply built. The faceplate is 100% plastic. But I gotta say, the transport is well built. And like most CD players, it sounds very nice. Here we go. There's our buttons, our display, and here's our faceplate. So I'm going to go and clean this out. Oh, here's the buttons coming off. What's that? That's the open and close button. So I'm going to go clean this off, and I shall return. Okay, we've got the faceplate all nice and clean now. Still don't know what the hell this is. I'm just going to set it aside for now. We'll see if the performance of the player has changed. Okay, we're going to put our control panel back on. Better put our open and close button back on. Power button came off too. All right, there goes something like that. Usually this panel's kind of like snapped into position and screwed down, but this one's just screwed down, so adds to the relative cheapness of the unit. Make sure the buttons are actually doing something. Yeah, it's kind of loosey-goosey the way it's sitting in here. Okay. All the buttons are doing something though, which is good. Okay, we'll get our power button back on. And one last look for this thing. kind of appeared when we pulled the faceplate off, right? It's not the disc tray that rolls on it, I don't believe. I don't see anything under here. Okay, we're not going to worry about it too much just yet. Okay, getting there. Excuse my head. Here we go. I think that's it. Looks like it. So when I'm editing this video, I'm going to go back and see when this appeared. You guys are probably all yelling at the screen, hey, it came off when you did this. I know where it goes. I cannot find where it goes. I'm wondering how critical it is to the operation of the CD player. I guess we'll find out, right? Definitely looks like a roller of some kind. Unfortunately, there's no service manual. There's no owner's manual. There's no nothing. Okay, we're just going to plug this in for a sec. I'm going to open it up. And we're good without the controls plugged in. I have to pause. I've got to get my head over here because I can't see where the cable's going. One sec. Okay, they're back in. And well, let's put our disc drawer faceplate back on. It just snaps on like that. And let's do one final test to make sure we've got sound. And then I'll continue cleaning this thing, get it all nice and new looking, and add it to the silly collection I have of 80 CD players. Play. Sounds fine. Working good. Sounds really good, actually. Yeah, can't complain. At 20 bucks, a bit pricey, but at, 30% off, not bad. I'm sure some morons are probably selling this thing for $200 on eBay. But like I said, there's very, very few examples of this thing out there. And I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe it's a Hitachi build. No Hitachi chips that I can see. But this transport is definitely Hitachi. Anyway, another one fixed. If any of you guys know what the hell this is or where it goes, let me know in the comments, because I'm going to have to rewatch this thing. And if I don't find out where it goes, then I'll be waiting for your comments. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. That's the Scott, H.H. Scott DA-970 CD player, thrift store find and restoration. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.